What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy J Reed for J Reed's Love, of course. What are we going to be talking about today? We're going to be talking about the C6 Corvette. Number one, it goes into the shop tomorrow. Let's get that out the way, because we got to get this, we got to drop the drivetrain and see what this knocking is. I think it's the torque tube, probably going to have to be rebuilt. It's going to run me about $2 grand. I wasn't looking forward to that. But anyway, that's what happens. You got to pay to play. You got to pay to play. It's true what they say. But nevertheless, today I'm going to be giving y'all a brief overview of everything that I've done to my Corvette as far as performance wise. Some stuff you'll see, a lot of cosmetic stuff. If you have questions about that, I will tell you about that. But I don't want this video to run a long time. So I'm going to pull the car out and we're going to talk about all of the performance modifications that I've done to the C6 Corvette. Now, what all have I done to this bad boy? I feel like I need to explain it kind of like in the order that I did it to make it make sense. I just got to remember everything, because this has been over a course of 10 years in the making, and this sun is sunning. So the first thing that I did when I started the modifications to the car, I got headers and I got a Corsa Extreme axle back system. That's what you just heard. So we got headers and a Corsa Extreme axle back system. When I got those modifications, that put me around 408 horsepower. Don't remember the torque, but it was 408 horsepower. You know, you think because you got an LS3 or Corvette that it's going to be really fast, but power to the wheels is probably around 387, which is not that much. But you know, it feels good. So anyway, with the headers, I think that brought the horsepower up to 408. These are dyno headers, and like I said, that's a Corsa Extreme high flow cats axle back system. Those were the first modifications that I got. Now the next modifications that I got was a stage 2, stage 3 cam. I'm going to say stage 3 because it was a custom grind cam, and when I looked up the specs, it was equivalent to a stage 3 BTR cam. We got this stage 3 cam. Now at this point, I also had an aftermarket air intake. It was a Black Hawk or whatever it was. I don't remember the name of it. And I got that tuned. When I got that tuned, that brought the horsepower up to 455 wheel horsepower. Now that felt great. Not only did it feel great, but it sounded amazing. I really could have stopped right there just because of the sound and the power. It was perfect for the street, but I wanted more. So the next thing that I did was I upgraded my torque converter. Don't underestimate the benefit of a torque converter. We got a Yank 3600 torque converter in there. It was custom for my setup. Put that in there, horsepower dropped tremendously. Word of advice: if you get a torque converter, don't expect that torque converter, especially if it's a loose converter, it's going to eat up a lot of horsepower. So you may have been making like 450 horsepower before the torque converter, but you're going to be probably making about 410 or 413 after. But your car will be so much quicker. Then that wasn't enough, so I said, you know what, it's time for a power adder. So the power adder that I put on here after that was a Nitrous system. We got the Nitrous Express system. It was a plate system, but as you can see, we got the nozzle. The nozzle had to come when I got the Supercharger because the plate fit right in between here. And because of that, it pushed the bracket up too far to the Supercharger, so it wouldn't work. So I switched that out to a nozzle. And in the back, now with that Supercharger setup, with the Nitrous setup, I got a whole nother fuel system strictly for the Nitrous, so I wasn't running off the stock fuel system. This the fuel regulator right here. It goes back to my trunk, which you have the Nitrous Express bottle with the bottle warmer. And then down here, we got this little standalone tank. This standalone tank, I run MS 109, which is equivalent to about 110 octane fuel. I run that when I'm running the nitrous. It only comes on when I'm running the night. So we got a separate fuel system for the nitrous. The whole point in that was to keep it as safe as possible. Because, you know, when you're playing with nitrous, you don't want to play with that with some half-ass system. You want to keep it as safe as possible. So that was the whole point of the nitrous. And along with that, we got a ramp in, we got a progressive controller, has a Nitrous Express progressive controller. I chose to go all the beans at once, so that was a waste of time because we giving it everything on the hit. And then we got the Lingenfelter LNC 2000. I use this to pull timing for the nitrous. I think it's set on like whatever the standard is, 2 degrees of timing for every 50 horsepower or something like that. So when I got the nitrous, I put in 150 shot jet minus, however, for the torque converter, I always got to include that in there, to 565 on 150 shot. Felt real good. Now with that, I started taking it to the track more. And when I took it to the track, we got a set of drag radials. These are the VMS wheels. They got a set of 275 40 17s on Mickey Thompson. Once you get to a certain horsepower level, you know, street tires just ain't gonna do. And when it comes to nitrous, you better have some radials if you plan on going to the track. Now, I ran that like that for probably about a year, 2 years. Then I was like, you know what? This nitrous is fine, but every time I'm on the street and somebody try to give me the business, I'm having to race them off of an NA setup. And for some reason, that was just wearing me down. It was wearing me down. So then I got my money right and I decided to go with an ANA supercharger kit. What we have here is a V3, or whatever it is. It's not the SI, this is the TI supercharger. The SI is first, the TI is second, and then the YSI is the largest one. So this is the supercharger that's in between. I think it's good for about 750 horsepower. We went with a 3.8 pulley. I did have a 3.4 initially, and I still got it, but it was belt slip at the time when it got installed, and I didn't have enough fuel. So to play it on the safe side, I just bought a 3.8 when I upgraded the fuel system again, just to be safe, because, you know, time is money. Pulling that off and then pulling it back on, time is money. So along with the supercharger, it came with, you know, a supercharger, the belt, and intercooler. But you also got, when you get a supercharger for your Corvette, you also got to upgrade the radiator for cooling. So we got a DeWitt's full-size radiator with an oil and transcooler. I had a transcooler, external transcooler. I took it off and decided to run the one within the radiator. Probably not the best idea because in the summer times it gets very toasty. So we got the internal transcooler. We're still running stock fans. Probably one of the next modifications that I'm going to do once I get this fixed is upgrade the fans to Pro Speed or SPA. One of the two. Then for the fuel injectors we have in here are the ID 1300s. So I got all the injector that I'll ever need. And then coming over to this side, we have a DSX flex fuel sensor. So I can run E85. I usually run 100% pump E85 most of the time, but I can mix and match whatever. Just depends on what I'm doing. When I'm going to the track, I'm always at 100% E. Now if you move on to the back, what you cannot see is I also have an external secondary fuel system for the supercharger. It's a DSX pump rated up to 900 horsepower. So when I put the supercharger on, I disconnected the nitrous. There was no need for it, so nitrous became a waste of money. But I decided to put it on, and here's why. The supercharger made, when I took it to, okay, so I just, one shop installed a supercharger, another shop installed the fuel system. Before I put the fuel system